this topic to the end of the general business in hopes that we get a fifth person, but if not, what we'll do in terms of procedure is we'll have the discussion and Trina will be obviously taking the minutes. And then based off of the discussion, I can relay that to the commission so that at least they know that there was an opportunity for you to have that discussion. And if we can't have, you know, a final vote or a final recommendation based off of what city clerk says, then we'll figure it out from there, but I hate to waste your guys' time. Oh, we do have a fifth? Okay.
It looks like, by the way, the April minutes have the fee schedule in it. So if you flip back to
We got John and Ava.
the April meeting, we have them at page 2 or 3.
Soccer.
It never ends. I'll be in Midland with soccer.
Not me, I was attempting to support social.
Okay. Fair enough.
Love it.
And they're not prepared yet.
Well, now that we have everyone here, if you wanna go ahead.
Yeah. Call the meeting to order at 6:31. May 9th.
Henson?
Here.
Scott Heron?
Here.
David J? Here. Margaret Maynard?
Here.
John Sparks?
Hello.
Scott Neal?
Present. Okay, so just got 2 missing. Cool. Well, those 2 of you are kind of getting settled. We got the May 9th and minutes of the April 11th meeting at the back of those, which I know we had emailed out to us. They're thankfully nice and short and sweet. So I don't know, does make a motion to approve those minutes if anybody would like to do so.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, so let's have Margaret make the motion and John second it.
Yes.
And then, is there any discussion? Anybody sees anything in the April 11th minutes that they'd like updated?
I have a question. Social district says would be from 12 a.m. to 10 p.m., is that correct?
No,
Should be.
12 p.m.
Okay,
12 p.m.
that
to
makes
10
sense.
p.m.
I looked at that.
Thanks.
No problem.
I think nay is spelled N-A-Y. The motion at the, it says, and one nay,
Oh,
that's the sound a horse
Why?
makes.
I like it. I like
It's
it.
cute though.
I like it.
I was thinking like, I don't know, maybe she was like, no!
Hey.
Yeah, like a horse.
That's excellent. Does anybody see anything else? Let's see, so we had that motion, we had the park update, skate park update, and then I see, which I don't know that we need to deal with during the approving the minutes, but we had that, you know, Vicky requesting information about on the start of the depot park, and you know, we'll probably follow up with you, Heather, and on that, but that again, it's not part of the minutes themselves. So is there any other changes? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes with the 2 minor changes, I guess they can raise their hand or say aye.
Aye.
Okay, anybody abstaining? Opposed? All right, we can move on to public comments not related to the agenda. So we have like 4 things on the agenda: pool fee, Hemlock Park, skate park, and depot park. And so if there was either of you that wanted to take the opportunity to talk about anything about the pool beyond the fees or anything else that's not on the agenda, this would be a good opportunity to do that. Okay. All right, so we'll move on to Heather for communications and general business.
Yeah, we can go right into general business. We'll start with our first topic, which is pool fees. Josh brought forward to Park and Rec a 9-week fee fee structure and a 10-week fee structure, complemented with his hard work in determining what the costs would be. And moving forward, we brought that to the city commission. It was then discussed at the table with the commissioners and the mayor that rather than accepting the pool fees, they wanted us to come to the park board and allow you have a discussion that they began at the commission level, which was the idea and concept of having no fees tied to this upcoming pool season. So that means not just swimming lessons, but also going to the pool for open swim. Currently, the city manager will be presenting the budget for final approval at the beginning of June. So they found it to be important not only for the community to get correspondence in terms of what Josh has scheduled for pool lessons or swimming lessons, but also he does a great job in coordinating, getting that communication out to the schools so that families can see it and they can start planning for their summer season. So that being said, Josh and I are here to answer any questions that you may have, given that that was our directive to come before you and ask you to consider what they would not be opposed to doing in terms of allowing for the pool to be utilized at no cost for the community.
Is this a pilot project that right now they want to see how it would go in 2024 and make decisions about future seasons after they assess it? Is that?
I honestly don't think that this would be a pilot project.
So-
This is something that they want to see the facility be utilized. I mean, we have a huge park project that I'll be giving you an update on, which is the splash pad. And it's a valuable resource that the commission sees and wants people to utilize and have it as a resource. The Ferris State community, or it's not community pool, but they do allow the community to come into it. That pool is shut down, so swimming lessons aren't taking place. And so they just want to see it be utilized.
I feel like for as long as I've lived in Big Rapids, the community pool has always struggled to have enough funding. Whether it's like repairs or upgrades or just like, it's always been a point of contention.
I would say that that's probably an accurate statement pre-Mark Gifford city manager
Okay.
era.
Yeah.
That facility itself has been something that we have internally taken some ownership on in terms of remar sighting. We have staff that have been taking on some additional duties because they want to. They want to see how they can be resourceful and make repairs. So last season when we opened up the pool, there was some remar sight that had to happen in the deep area, and our pool staff, our water operators that are certified, they took the initiative and they did the repairs themselves, which was fantastic. So they're learning, but I mean, they're being resourceful too.
So I think to like finish my thought, my only concern would be that if the city has the money to make the pool available to everyone for free, which I think is great, are we taking away money that could upgrade or make the pool better or make the pool more resilient in future years where the city might not have the tax dollars to support and maintain the pool?
I think that's a valid question, and that's probably something that needs to be evaluated long-term. But moving forward into this pool season, just so that you understand the budget, the pool to run on a weekly basis is approximately $15,000. It's always been roughly around that amount, just because of the amount of chemicals, and we heat the pool, and, you know, it's obviously running 24/7. So in terms of revenue, we always budget no more than $35,000. So you have a $150,000 quality of life component that's acknowledged and approved by the city commission, knowing that $35,000 might come in.
Yeah.
Guaranteed that we would hit that number, it's just,
Yeah.
it might come in.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of sounds like a lot of money, but it's also not that much money. It's like, how much money would it take to, like, put a roof over the pool? Like,
Yeah.
$500,000?
Millions.
$2 million?
Yeah, I don't have a
Like-
handle on that.
How many years of $30,000
Sure.
would it take to pay for a roof over the pool? It'd take pretty many,
Yeah.
like, so probably not really worth,
Yeah, it's a little
like,
bit
making
bigger.
people, like, gouging people that can't afford to go to the pool.
Part of the conversation, because people are aware that the splash pad is coming and there's been concern that the splash pad is going to take away from the pool. The
Yeah.
splash pad is going to roughly cost about $100,000 a year to run, and it's completely free to the public.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do that, then why not make the pool free as well, instead of having another amenity be completely free while charging for the pool, and they're both costing us money.
Yeah.
Josh, are you familiar with there being swimming lessons available to the public in other places that are free like that? Like if the swimming lessons were to go for free? Because obviously we have the option to look at, you know, different ways of looking at it.
There's different ways to look at it. I'm not familiar with other places that offer swim lessons for free, but at the same time, I'm looking at this from the same budgetary standpoint of it's not worth charging if we're not gonna charge for the whole thing. If we're not gonna charge for the open swim, it's not worth charging for the swim lessons as well, and I'd rather see more people get the opportunity to take swim lessons and not be cost prohibited in doing so. I'd rather see that open up. I'd rather see a great problem of we have so many people that need to come up with more swim lesson opportunities, more hours in a 10-week season. Instead of doing 1 5-week session, let's do 2 5-week sessions because we have that many people that need and want swim lessons. I'd rather see that and meet that need than hear about people not being able to do it because it's cost prohibitive.
I do see like the swim lesson thing, like a lot of people jumping on that, so.
This board historically has had the discussion over the course of many years and how we, the city, could work with the public school system to target those children that have low income and need the opportunity to have the opportunity to do swim lessons, and we've never really been able to engage that and target how we can get those individuals to the swimming lessons. So the cost thing is always been something that we've just continuously just moved forward with.
More people have the opportunity.
I love it. I mean, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That if we can offer that, that's really great.
The free Fridays are the only real reflection we have of what it might be like. You know, the pool party Fridays that we've done. Yeah, I've been there, and some of you guys may or may not have been there, but it definitely does increase the number of people, you know, when you don't have to pay, and sometimes every once in a while there was some food involved and relaxing with 1 or 2 rules, but yeah, that's the only example of like what you could potentially expect to see at the pool.
Has the pool seen on a free Friday in the past where it reached maximum capacity and it couldn't?
Closest we got was the pig roast. Maximum capacity being 300 people. The closest we got was the pig roast, and we didn't get there.
Okay. What do you think, you know, this is something that we do need to think about. In this society, we do see young and older people not always treating facilities and resources well if there's not any investment in those. So that idea of when things are free, how do they take care of those spaces, facilities? Do they take it for granted? Do they trash it, or do they treat it well? I wish that wasn't the case, but you can look around our community and see the examples of that, you know.
I think in this case, the advantage we have is the fact that I will be there with my staff to be able to maintain the quality down there and to monitor those types of situations, instead of a lot of free situations where it is a free-for-all and it's not manned, it's not staffed, and it's a cleanup after the fact type situation.
And my understanding is that anybody that tries to hop the fence and do this in the evenings after it's closed, that's typically been
Vicky's on them.
yeah, it tends to be monitored.
Yes.
And we have security cameras that are focused on the outside of the pool area, so that in the event of something like that type of activity occurs, the DPS has the opportunity to go back and check the.
Yeah, those are just sadly things that need to be thought through.
The other way of looking at it too is that there's a lot of people that genuinely appreciate the fact that the city keeps the pool open and they care about the facility and they go to it regularly. So with that mindset, they will probably self-police it as well.
Yeah.
Because anybody that goes to, their favorite park amenity, this golf course, and they've put time into it and they've cared about it, they're gonna make sure that somebody else is doing responsible activities.
Yeah, I think that there's the potential that any revenue that the pool loses, it gains in community support. So that if we lose out on $35,000 a year for 5 years, but somebody decides that we should put a roof over it, that like we might get a lot more than $35,000 out of the community because of the goodwill of the pool's existence as a community amenity.
I mean, who knows, it could build such rapport and that much more people excited about the facility that there could be a community fundraiser where something like that could happen long-term down the road.
You know,
I mean, how many times have we sat here in front of this whole entire board, and some of you are pretty green to this, but, I mean, how many times has somebody said, we have a community pool?
It's true.
And, I mean, what other way to get people to more talk about it and get more buzz and get more interest and use than having something be of a resource that they just wanna go and check out?
right, it was like, or other upgrades like an addition that like, they're like permanent lap lanes or like a separate kiddie pool, or, I mean, I can think of a lot of things that the pool got more use, that the community might want to step up and support in a way that was voluntary and equitable. That makes sense to me.
One of the big things that Josh and Michelle and Mark Giffen and I have been working on over the course of the winter time is with a architect, and hopefully in the future we can apply for some sort of grant opportunities, but we've been redesigning and reconfiguring the facility itself internally so that way it can be more current and up to date and family friendly when it comes to the changing areas.
I want to reiterate now, as I did previously when they were updated, that it would be good if there was some kind of changing area for people who identify as transgender or non-binary.
Yeah, so we, part of that design is that we were going to have more of a secluded space, a family kind of area.
Essentially a family locker room that is a single use at a time, so while it would be a locker room, it's one family in here at a time, or even person in here at a time.
So we've been working on that, and I think that people would genuinely appreciate that and would support it.
Yeah.
But again, we gotta get people to go there too, so.
Yeah. It sounds like you both support this idea. You don't
Yeah,
have
I think it's worth considering for you as a group to discuss if you'd like to make a recommendation to them to consider rescinding the pool fees and evaluate after the pool year to see how it was received from the community, rather than just having it, the pool fees rescinded indefinitely. It would be my recommendation, I don't know about Josh, but to do it for this pool season and see if we can determine its success rate, and at the end of the season, come September timeframe, we could then let you know this is how many people came, this is how many, what our successes and challenges were, and reevaluate.
I agree. Any conversations I've had, people have brought up concerns, problems, and each one I do personally see as a positive problem. Something that is a good thing to have to work on. Again, we oversell the swim lessons. We don't have enough opportunities. That's a good problem. To me, that's a great problem to have. Let's find a different way to open up those opportunities. And I think this allows for that. So to me, this makes sense. It's the right direction to go.
Assuming that you had more people interested in swim lessons than you could accommodate, you would be first come, first serve.
It would still be a first come, first serve, but like I said, we do a 5-week session right now.
Yeah.
I would open that up to doing 2 5-week sessions because we're open for 10 weeks. I would work on doing something along those lines.
Yeah.
Trying to make something like that happen, or just changing instead of 2 5-week, 2 4-week, something where we open up more opportunities for people to take those lessons. We already did that last year by adding evening lessons, and while it obviously provided us with some interesting things to work on, it was a good problem, and it was very well received. We had a lot of people that really appreciated the fact that we opened up another opportunity for them to be able to take swim lessons because they can't take the morning swim lessons.
Yeah.
So I look at this in the same sense.
How concerned are you guys about the precedents? Like, once you open something like this up to people who've experienced it one season, do you feel like if we need as a community to go back to a fee structure that we can get, I mean, the buy-in of this board is probably a little bit easier than the buy-in of the public, thinking that if things are, no cost in 2024, and let's say 2025 or 2026, we realize that didn't work and we need to. Are you guys prepared as a city to be able to say, hey, well, this is,
You can just blame it on us.
I mean, they kind
Well, I
of,
think it's something that we have to be conscientious of, yes. And that's on city staff to make that message clear, that this is a 2024, try it out kind of thing. And given if that's the direction that the city commission wants to see us go and you want to see us go, but yeah, if we're gonna look at it for the 24 season and reevaluate, see what our successes and challenges were, and over the course of the winter time, the pool committee can get together and talk further about it. But yeah, I would probably work with Josh and we would make sure that we have some sort of signage up there, letting people know that right now it's just for 24 season, if that's what you guys want to see have happen.
I think it would. I have I talked to a lot of different people that wanted to use the pool, but didn't realize that they had to pay a fee, and so they didn't utilize it at all.
Sure.
Something like this could bring those people back into the fold.
Once you go free, I've got some experience with this coming from the service industry. That's all the pool is. It's a service. Rent its use for a swim lesson or to splash about, and the public trusts in us that we'll have chemicals there and safety and other concerns that they won't get hurt there. Once we make it free, it loses all value. This board needs to consider that. Loses all value. It's valueless
in the eyes of the users.
of the public.
Of the public.
I don't know if that's true.
I'm wondering if they considered charging for the lessons, but, you know,
I would go the other way.
get
I would charge people
lessons
sweet.
free, public.
It's more important to me that children don't drown than that people.
Oh, I agree, but it just seems like an extra service, extra staff, I don't know.
But I mean, the disc golf course is free, and I think that generally the vast majority of people that use the disc golf course appreciate it and respect it and consider it an asset to the community. Like, certainly not valueless. I would say that it's in many ways like one of the most valuable assets to at least people that utilize it, because it brings people to our community. They have built friendships around it. They have fond memories there. I don't see why the pool would be any different than that. They're both recreation. They're both enjoyed. I think that when people find enjoyment in places, that they tend to value it. And not everyone. I mean, they always say, like, one bad apple or whatever. Of course, there are kids that are kids and make bad decisions and do little vandalism acts. And that doesn't mean all children are vandals, or that we should, like, punish all children or something, right? It's like the exception to the rule. Sure, I think that some people will take advantage of the pool or, not be as well behaved as they should be, but I think most people are the opposite of that. And when people care, they'll do their part too. So it's not just on Josh. It's like, if I see somebody fall down, I try to pick them up. If I see somebody doing something bad, I'm usually like, hey, what are you doing?
Well, the Dragon Trail is really a good example of that because that's free to go
Right.
use.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of trail users that think of it like their trail. They take ownership. They
Yeah.
leave no trace.
Right.
And we also have a volunteer group that grooms the trail. And they just do that because they love the trail, so they take ownership. So I think there's that aspect too, but you're always gonna have someone that's gonna trash something or leave something. There's always gonna be that person, but I think, like Foster says, I think the majority of the people are gonna take ownership.
In a positive way.
Yes.
Sometimes people taking ownership can
Yeah, exactly.
be tricky, but overall, I think it's a positive.
If the pool is maxed out, like, is there always enough staff, like,
We have enough
there
staff, yeah.
for a
We always make
maxed out
sure that there's.
situation?
Yeah, we always make sure that there's enough staff. The only thing that it could run into is if everyone has to be on at all times because we're at max the entire time, then we run into the number of hours the kids are working, and they're only allowed to work a certain number of hours per week. So that may be something we run into. My hope would be, again, I look at this as a good problem. If we have to deal with that as a problem this year, that's something that we address going forward. But the positive I draw from that is the more people that we're putting through those swim lessons and exposing to the pool, eventually down the line, they want to work at the pool. The more bodies and people that we have working at that pool, we fix that problem.
And right now, for like snacks and stuff, it's just like bags of chips,
Yeah, it's
blah,
just
blah.
simple
Like, is
concessions.
there the potential for a grill type situation? Like, I don't know. Like, if people want to be there all day.
Big upgrade.
and
I think
eating-
the bigger thing we've talked about is actually incorporating food trucks.
Oh,
Instead of actually
nice.
us doing any of the cooking, having food trucks available down near the pool at those
Mm-hmm.
times where they can step outside of the pool deck, eat some food, come back in onto the pool deck and go swimming and things like that. Very similar to how we handled like the pig roasts last year. That was outside of the premise, you go outside, you eat, and then you can come back in and go swimming again. So, that way that we're not in charge of cooking people's food.
Yeah.
It's a very simple concession that we run, and it does the part where we allow them to get something salty or sweet and have some water and take a break from the pool, so.
Does the fence that surrounds our pool, is it see-through?
Yeah, it's just chain link.
I know Ferris State football was free to students for a long time. And they struggled at recovering that for the very reasons that I fear. once you make something free, it's valueless.
And I think
And-
that is a perspective.
And they
that
have since
depends.
put that barrier that is on a chain link fence, that, I don't know, that green stuff, screen?
Run like a ribbon through the chain links.
Yeah, that creates a value to someone on the outside looking in, what's going on in there? I wanna be part of that. See? And I don't know, but I like those green, screen fencing addition to create, just that. You know, I can hear it, sort of see it a little if I get on a hill or what have you, but, I don't know.
So I think each one, especially when it comes to
Considered that.
value, it's a perspective and how you wanna look at it. I don't see a decrease in value because what we're offering doesn't decrease in what we're giving. And so people find their own value in that. They want swim lessons, they're still getting good quality swim lessons, and they're getting them for less. I mean, you go to a place for food, you get the exact same food, whether you pay $10 or you get it for free, did that mean it was less valuable? No, it's still good food. So you're getting still that quality swim lessons, but now you're getting them for free. So it's a perspective. I don't see the lack in value. Some people will. Some people will look at it and not care because they're gonna say, it's a pool, it's for free, I didn't have to pay to come in here. Unfortunately, that's your view, but you're not going to be the majority. And I'm willing to state that that would be the case.
I don't feel that way every time I use our parks. And I do, a lot,
For free.
walking my dog. And, so it's, again, I just have that fear of, should
So maybe
we agree to this and, decide that, wait a minute, maybe we made a mistake, we should in fact charge, reinstate, as it were, boy, we're gonna have a hard time doing it.
No, we won't.
No.
We go through pool rates, if not annually, every other year. They have been adjusted, and they come to the board, and we have a discussion about what staff are recommending for the pool rate. And then it's presented to the city commission because they are the ones that make the final say on whatever adjustments to rates are on users. So it wouldn't be any different of a process that we've done before. So again, at the end of the pool season, we would come back to the park board and say, this is where we had success and this is where we had challenges. And we would make recommendations based off what we experienced and what we heard from the community. Not any different than any other time we've done pool rates. Just now, the city commission saying, consider this. Because we're gonna have a free splash pad.
And I think it's worth repeating what Josh said is that
What's that called? Pickleball.
the pool
Tennis.
has never made enough money to cover itself.
No,
So it's like the city's already been successfully footing most of the bill for so long. And like really at the city budget level, $35,000, what is that, like 1 square foot of road?
it's definitely a drop in the bucket when you look at it
Like,
holistically.
I mean, where, like, what?
Can
where are
we
taking this
maintain
$35,000 from that
the
it's
quality?
really bad,
Hang on a second, John.
right? Like,
The $35,000 is budgeted through the general fund.
I mean, like, what could the city apply that to?
It would go to, it would stay in the general
That
fund.
like would go so far if it wasn't going for the pool. What could the city spend $35,000 in a better way than on the pool? I think the pool sounds like just about the best way you could spend it.
Hands down, and that's the city commission's outlook on this, is, you know, do you want to sacrifice a facility not being utilized because there's another free amenity that is a water feature? And they value the quality of life that it gives to the citizens, along with the fact that the swimming lessons is a valuable key component to that facility, and they recognize that.
I mean, I think swimming lessons are essential for the community.
Sure.
Like, we have a river.
Oh, yeah. At the-
Kids need to be able to swim safely.
John, what were you saying? You started talking when he was asking me a question, so that's.
Will we maintain the quality
Oh, yeah.
of
We're run by the health, we have to follow what the health department says. They can shut down the pool if we're not doing what is required. And like I said, I have water operator, water distribution, they have their certified professional operator, certification, whatever it's called, pool operator. And they take that seriously.
Good, very good.
So as a appointed, I guess board members are not really commissioners, it's really, we have the option of obviously putting forth a motion to this. I mean, the accountability from the community is really to the, elected commissioners. If people just absolutely don't like this, they're the ones that would have the positive or negative, repercussions to it because we're appointed, not elected officials. So if for some reason, you see this as a positive thing, I suppose we put forth a motion and, see if it'll pass and then put it back in the commission's hands to say, okay, if this is how you want to go forth, then we give you grace and see how it goes and revisit it at the end.
No, we won't know until we try.
Even though I've been mostly negative, Nelly, I would motion that we do adopt.
A second.
I'll move to second.
Adopt what? Adopt rates?
Adopt the rate dropping,
Dropping.
Or rescinding the rates?
rescinding.
For
That,
We moved it to recommend to the city commission that they rescind the pool rates for the 2024 season.
what he said.
Yeah.
Margaret, second.
Is there any discussion before we vote? I think we had a lot of
I
discussion.
think we discussed it to
Okay,
death.
okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstaining?
So I'll be writing out my position paper here after this meeting tonight, so I can get that to the city clerk, and that will be put in the commission packet for tomorrow morning. And that will go to the commission on the 13th.
It's coming right up.
Super
Monday.
excited.
Quick turnaround.
Well, we punt the ball to them and give them the opportunity to see how it goes, and yeah, that pool committee will be important this winter.
Sure.
But that's okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Hemlock Park.
Hemlock Park update. So, beginning today, city DPW staff made their way to Hemlock Park, and they started to saw cut the concrete so that we can start salvaging the bricks that some people have expressed that they have interest in obtaining. So we're in that process right now. And the contractor that was awarded the bid to do the work, Gerber Construction, they had a pre-construction meeting with city staff, and it was agreed that they will not start mobilizing until the first week of June. The playground itself has to be removed by city staff only. It cannot be a volunteer effort. I can't have Gerber out there, and that was in terms of the grant agreement. So because they're not going to be going into the park until after the holiday, we city staff thought it was important to keep the play structure up over the holiday weekend rather than start demolishing it beforehand. So the beginning of June, that's when you're gonna see things happening at Hemlock Park. And it's anticipated that because of the lead time for the playground, the playground and the splash pad equipment, it should be a project completion, hopefully by end of August, mid-September. So what is that, Labor Day weekend? Maybe everything will be up and running.
warm.
Yeah, so that's, what our project schedule is for that.
Has your work meeting given the city an idea that you could share with us about how much of Hemlock Park would be like cordoned off as non-usable work zone?
It would be the whole area that would encompass the warming station, the splash pad itself, and the playground. We will work with the contractor where we'll probably snow fence off the area once construction begins to ensure that nobody's in a construction zone.
So hopefully the picnic shelter's probably gonna be included in that.
Nope,
I think it'll go not even into that.
no, because the splash pad goes between the pavilion and the donor circle. So, we have a little icon that pops up when somebody goes to rent the pavilions. It states that there will be construction going on in Hemlock Park. And Trina is the one that manages those reservations, and she's quick to inform people that there would be probably construction going on if they decide they want to rent the pavilion.
And do they anticipate allowing still at least reasonable access to that parking area?
Oh, yeah, yeah. We plan on having softball games and the tennis courts are open. We're putting in the kayak launch next Tuesday. So activity will take place. There will probably be times where they'll have to shut down the park entrance just for getting the water service line across or getting the gas line across for the warming station, but that's temporary, it's not permanent.
Do you expect press to be present on
What?
groundbreaking? Press?
Press?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Be nice
We haven't talked through that
maybe.
part.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I know that, like, you
We
know,
did that for like the whole project itself when, God, 2 years ago.
that doesn't seem like 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. We were down at the band shell and that's where we had the big ceremonial groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So,
Get a hold of Kathy Crew, a nice pre-Memorial Day. I had another pre-Memorial Day little thing that highlights, hey, the playscape's coming down. You know, construction's gonna be starting. I mean, those things probably would be well
Yeah,
appreciated. by
I mean, I can definitely give her the communications. I mean, Steve does a fantastic job of getting that information out. Him and I are constantly talking.
Kathy
the- yeah. Just
and radio stations and all that.
I would love to hear any like notice that you can see from people with the announcement of like the splash pad and the playscape.
Oh, I get asked probably 3 times a week when Playscape is gonna be
Yeah,
installed or splash pad and everything else today
yeah.
on the radio. So,
So
yeah, no, people are excited.
Yeah.
People are very, very excited.
Most of the playscape, the fencing, the slats that make it up are donors.
Yep.
Are those being,
Yeah, we'll salvage those. We're just gonna take a saw and go right underneath the whole railing, and then we're gonna keep them, store them, and
for folks that contact you that were a donor, they could get their little board?
yeah, I'm still working on the coordination piece of that one and how we're gonna make that available to the public. But we will be salvaging that. Skate Park, it was, submitted to the DNR, the plans and the specs. They were submitted to the DNR, so they have to review, and once they approve, then, we will go out to bid, and we're hoping to have that project completed by this fall.
Are we looking at a structure or a cement?
Concrete, yep.
Oh,
It's concrete, and then there are metal apparatuses that will be put down on them.
grind rails.
Yes, that kind of stuff. Yep. And then Depot Park is the last one that I can give you an update We had survey take place out there. We had a group meeting with all those stakeholders for that park area, including the depot building. The Klussmans were in town. So good conversation, and that component is in the final piece. And once the bids are sealed and ready to go, they'll go out on the street. It's been approved by the grant. What is the name of that grant? It's the one through the MEDC, the placemaking one. I apologize, the name escapes me, but RAP, thank you. They've already said that once we have everything ready to go, we've got their permission. So we just gotta get that one out in the street, and hopefully we can get that project done by the end of this fall as well.
Is that a pretty easy reach, like a ask, that type of a bid?
Yeah, our next meeting, I'll bring you the plan so you guys can see them, just to give you a refresher. But essentially, it's just focusing on the drive approach and the parking lot, and then kind of like some beautification pieces to
Landscaping,
spruce it up. Yeah,
stuff.
it's pretty
Not like
straightforward.
Major structures or infrastructure.
No.
Do you have any projects that are gonna be left for next year?
Well, at this rate, I might be looking at putting a roof on the pool the way you guys are talking. Who knows? There's always something. We always refer back to the 5-year master plan and see how we can, keep making our parks that much more enjoyable.
You know, if there was a roof over the pool, double as a greenhouse.
I'd have to staff that.
Plants in there.
You could.
You know, everybody would want to work there because it's so cold outside. But in the pool, it's like awesome, and there are these palm trees.
Little reggae music.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Although I did think that John's idea of making the fence less see-through could really appeal to people who wanted a nude swim.
That's all I have left to report for this evening.
We'd have to charge for that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't have any staff reports, and there's no committee reports. No, did they want to? No. Yeah. Oh, Rosemary, I didn't even see you back there. Hi.
I just have a quick question.
Go for it.
During the pool fee conversation, no one mentioned non-residents. Are they allowed to use it? Will they be charged a fee? They'll be free too? Okay.
So that's
I just kind of assumed that would be the case.
Just one.
Free to everyone.
Yeah.
So that would be something the city would be stressing, hey, we're doing this as a community service for everyone, and that's a big deal.
Hopefully they would come and shop here and have lunch and buy their gas, so maybe that would help in that way. Bringing that out of town revenue.
Perhaps next month, I don't know that I really wanna go into anything new businessy, or right now, but maybe next month in June, be interesting to kinda visit the option, or the conversation of, is there any role or any place in any of the city parks, that could at some point in time formally be perhaps, identified as a place for some of the, homeless on home people to, intentionally gather for anything, whether that be, services from this community or a meal or anything like that. We just aren't really as a community doing much other than kind of moving them from place to place to place, and it'd just be nice to think about if there's any role that our parks can have in that. And so, like I said, maybe I'll just prime the pump that maybe that's worth looking at in the future, and I could look into what that might look like in other communities too.
Motion
to adjourn.
I love that. Okay, we are adjourned at 7:20.